One of the things that I always try to do when I lift is to lift perfectly. Lifting with perfect technique is some of my biggest focuses when I'm training. So when I'm going through a range of motion, say the squat, as you know, I post squatting the most, I'm always thinking about how do I execute this thing perfectly. Now, obviously the last few reps might not feel like the first rep, but I'm always focusing on lifting perfectly. One of the things that Pavel Tsatsouline taught me through his writings is that you need to practice strength. You need to practice strength in the most optimal technique, in the most optimal form. One of the things that weak people often mistake is that they think that lifting as heavy as possible will get the most gains when it comes to strength, but it's actually not the case. You need to lift as heavy as possible with the perfect technique, because the moment you start breaking out of that perfect technique, you are introducing a different movement pattern, different firing sequences in your muscles, different coordination, and that throws out the one technique that you're supposed to be executing. So some of you guys make comments like, oh, I'm sure you can lift heavier than this. And that's true, I probably could, but it's about me feeling what musculature I'm engaging and using that. Now, obviously, on the day when you're competing in a competition, whatever the case might be, when you're maxing out on that on a given day, of course, you lift as heavy as possible. But in training, I think most people screw up because they don't stay within that perfect window of training, where the weight is heavy enough to elicit some sort of strength, stimulus strength, adaptation from the body, but not too heavy where you are kind of breaking out of that form which you're trying to lift in the first place. So weak people push really, really hard because they're really, really keen to get really strong. The people that understand how to get stronger know that there's a window there, and it could be different for different people. Depends how big you are, how small you are, whatever. Some people can train like with 90% 1RM. Some people can train with 80% 1RM, for sets of 5 or whatever the case might be. For me, I feel when I'm around 80%, I'm comfortable under the bar, meaning that I don't feel like I'm getting freaking crushed by the thing. That feeling of crushing, we all have felt this if you've trained, is scary, and automatically you start recruiting muscles which are the strongest, and with the squat, it's usually the posterior chain. So a lot of people start leaning forward. A lot of people start engaging the glutes too much, the hamstrings too much. I mean, you could be doing a low bar squat. In my case, I'm doing the high bar squat, so I'm trying to engage like a balance of anterior chain versus the posterior chain. There's a way of lifting it. So if I feel like I'm being crushed, like say if I'm doing a 1 rep max, I'm just thinking I need to get this thing off my back, and I need to get off my back as soon as possible. And I'm not thinking about, okay, let's see what the knees are, let's control the descent. It's almost like, all right, let's freaking just power through this shit and move on with life. That's not what I'm trying to practice on a day-to-day basis. Squatting every day is not a matter of going hard, it's a matter of going smart. So you need to calculate and this comes with experience, you need to calculate your percentages in a way where you can kind of get benefit from the training session, but not overreach where you are, number one, going to cost yourself too many recovery points, and number two, you're practicing the wrong pattern of coordination, muscular anagram, right? Like your nervous system is like, oh, we're practicing this, but you're doing this now. So that's the thing. I mean, that's the philosophy that I go under. A lot of the time I look like I don't even training. A lot of the time I look like I'm way too comfortable. I have days where I push hard, like, I put 100 kilos on, do 30 reps. That shit is freaking brutal. In all of my calendar of training, those freaking high rep sets absolutely brutalize me, and I freaking get anxious before it because I know it's going to be agony, and I know it's going to be like 3-minute set, and that is brutal. So I have moments where I challenge myself. Most of the time I look really comfortable and I look perfect technique, which is what I'm after. So all I'm trying to say here in this video is to challenge you maybe, or give you food for thought, and to maybe send you down the right path, maybe to do some reading in terms of how the pros, how the strongest people in the world train. And they don't train like some of us weaklings train, in terms of, posting stuff on YouTube, posting stuff on Instagram, like every freaking day we're like trying to bust our balls, trying to prove ourselves and whatever. The pros don't do it that way. If you look a lot of I follow the East more so than the West kind of thing. My philosophy is kind of aligned myself to the Eastern kind of philosophy of strength training more so than the Western. But when you look some of the best lifters, I guess, across the world, I'm thinking about the Eastern lifters, is they look like lifting 60 kilos deadlift and lifting 400 kilos deadlift. They look freaking the same. There's no kind of breakdown in form. You know, there's no like major rounding or whatever. And how many videos have you guys seen on the internet of freaking guys just maxing out, freaking the back is rounded off completely and discs are screaming, please stop, I'm gonna freaking shoot out of your spine. That is not training, man. You cannot be going for your 1 rep max every single day, even 5 rep max every single day, whatever. You can't be going 100% intensity every single day, because when we are pushing 100%, we are not practicing the optimal form. I'm thinking to myself 90, maybe 95% of your 1 rep max of the maximum method that you're doing. It could be a set of 3, set of 5, whatever the case might be. You need to leave a couple of reps in the tank is what I'm trying to say, because it's about technique, man, and strength is made with volume. Now, I've made previous videos about me kind of contesting the idea that strength is only built under 5 reps. You see me doing a set of 30. I think strength can be built in any rep range. Like perfecting your technique for a 1 rep max, you obviously need to play the sport, do the 1 rep max in training. But in terms of building strength, it's all about volume. So you don't have to like go balls to the wall, break your form to get 1 more rep. That's bodybuilding. That's a different kind of beast. Like if you're thinking about strength, you're thinking about increasing your squat, your deadlift, whatever the case might be, I feel, and I'm not an expert, I'm just giving you my opinion here, I feel leaving a couple of reps in the tank is the best way to go about it, because your technique stands on point and you still get the benefits of hypertrophy and strength gains and whatever the case might be. And obviously the injury chance drops, massively, drops off massively. So anyway, as I'm doing this, another video I've done 160 kilos for 5, you'll see on the video now. As I did this, I thought to myself, some of you guys might be thinking to yourself, man, you're capable of doing more. And sure, of course I am. But I feel like today, that 5th rep felt okay on camera, obviously, but it's the feeling. I felt different musculature being engaged more as the reps went along. And if I did 3 more reps, 4 more reps, 10, whatever the reps, I would be shifting more and more and more into a deadlift type of pattern. I'll be engaging the muscles that can really survive that type of set. And that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to increase the muscles which drive my high bar squat, not my deadlift. So it's all kind of a little bit confusing, and it takes a lot of experience under the bar. It takes a lot of, I guess, experience, and this is why you can't become really, really good in a few years. It really takes time to kind of understand what type of protocol, what type of percentages you want to employ. But anyway, thought I'd share this with you guys. It's kind of like I have some of these discussions every few months, because it's just every so often I just think to myself, this is one of the most important lessons that I've learned, and might as well share it. All right, guys, catch you in the next one.